Hi guys, it's Down Under Monkey, and today I'm going to pick an Avis 8350. Nice padlock, but it does not have standard pins in it. It has pins that were made up by a mate of mine. Well, not made up by him, but he put a package together for me. I told him to make it a little bit challenging and a little bit versatile, so we will see how we go. That's the bitting on the key. It's a nasty looking little valley there that I've got to try and get around. But let's see how we go. So padlock operates, it's a bit stiff, but still works nonetheless. Let's get it in the vise and have a crack at picking this. Gentleman who gave me the pins would rather stay anonymous, and I totally respect that. Not everyone wants their face or their name on camera. I'll be using this pick. The reason it's double-ended is it has two different angles that I like to use on this particular pick. One sits at about 45, it's pretty comfortable for your hand. The other one sits a little bit more upright, but still slightly off center. I find picking dead center is sometimes a little uncomfortable when you're using a vise. You need that little bit of a layover, so you can sort of rest your finger up like that, nice and comfortable, instead of being all the way back here. The beauty of making your own tensioners and potentially your own tools. I don't make my own tools yet. I still use Lawlock tools. So we'll start with this hook and see what we can do. Oh, that's probably a bit blurry. Try and keep that a bit more focused. Okay, not much out of one. I don't particularly know what order you guys like to move in. Some start from the back, some start from the front. Okay, that one just got me into a false set. I think that was 4. A little bit of counter rotation there. No, that feels overset now. Oh, back in that false set. Try again up there, nothing. Work my way forward. Oh, bit of counter rotation there. No. That wasn't it. That wasn't it. There we go, back in the full set. So something started working. Yeah, I think I'm getting caught up on something. I'm going to change that to a slightly bigger hook. Let's go with that one. Try and get around that first pin. Feels like I was pushing up couple of pins at the same time, which is something that I've started to identify a little more lately, and tried to counter that by taking it easy. Well, whatever I just hit, I overset it, because now nothing's moving. Okay, click. Nothing there, definitely overset. See if I can drop that back down. 1, nothing. 2, nothing. 3, nothing. 4, feels down. 5, oh, hang on, feels like 6 is down. Oh, there we go. 6 is back in position, I think. Let's try that. Counter on 6, there we go. 5 is set. I think that's 4, bit of counter on 4, oh, and we're open. Well, there you go. Caught up all over the place. And we'll click that, take the bar out. sideways. The beautiful thing about an ABUS lock is there are normally, well, I haven't come across any, so I'm going to say normally, there aren't any circlips, which seem to be the bane of everyone's existence. And they just slide apart really nicely, really beautiful locks. And this one wasn't as difficult to pick as I thought it would be. I'm just going to lock that up while I take the back screws off, because they do have the holes at the bottom here, and if you over rotate it, all the pins fall out and it can be a nightmare. Not so much so when you're working on a bench, but if you're working on your lap or somewhere where the pins are going to fall on the floor and go everywhere, it's always a nightmare. Okay, so let's put that back in, give it a turn, and we'll show you what's inside. Pop those out. Now, I do have a few things on the way, pinning tweezers being the biggest thing. Currently I'm just using a pair of crappy, oops, hold on a second, my thumbs won't line up and 6 has just decided to drop out. Take that back out of there. I really should have put that one back in to show you, but 6 is pretty small, so it would have been all the way down. Alright, let's go with 1, standard, 2, standard. I will show you these pins when I'm done. 3, standard. 4, running away, but standard. 5, standard, and 6 is standard. Alright, put that in that little core. I'm absolutely loving this pinning tray from my mate. It makes life so much easier. Alright, let's go with pin 1. Is a spool with a large section down the bottom. Pin 2 is a mushroom. Pin 3 is another spool with a short section on one side and a larger section at the other side. Give you a close up of these in a second. 4 looks like a standard ASSA shallow spool. 5 is another one of those spools with a thick end and a thin end. 6, oh, what is that horrifying looking thing? My pinning tray's not even big enough for that. Let's dump out some of these springs. The core looks, I mean, the Bible looks pretty standard. You can't really do much to those unless you elongate these holes and get some sort of a thread down there. Let me move the light for a second. Yeah, there's nothing's been done to that. Right. The core, standard. Could make that a lot harder for spools if you thread the core, or counter milling if people will call it that. Let me just move these springs up out of the way, and we'll give you a close-up of the pins. I mean, he's made it reasonably hard, but there are things I could do to modify the lock to make it much harder. I mean, that's one of those spools that's shallow on one end and not so shallow on the other. The mushroom looking pin. The second spool that's shallow on one side. An ASSA shallow spool. There's that one, and there's that behemoth of the thing. Interesting. Could probably make it harder by turning this around upside down so that the thin lip is down the bottom. It might confuse you a little bit more. You could counter mill some of this core along a couple of these to match up with the thin lips on these. But aside from that, it didn't really feel all that difficult. So I might juice this thing up and pass it on and see how we go from there. I hope you've enjoyed that video, and I will catch you on the next one. Thanks very much.